stop. Put that sandwich down because that whole grain loaf sitting on your counter may be one of the biggest supermarket cons of 2026, quietly feeding your gut something it was never built to process. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss our next product check. This is our fight against the marketing giants, and we're on your side. And I'd bet money one of these is sitting in your pantry right now. We've gone through the latest lab screenings, folks, and the results are ugly. This isn't harmless. That fake fluffy bread spikes your blood sugar, it feeds your gut bacteria the wrong fuel, and the additives keeping it soft get processed by your liver, the organ that has to clean up every shortcut the food industry takes. And here's the part that should worry you. One world-famous loaf, a brand sitting in almost every American bread box in this country, just failed our check catastrophically. I'm not naming it yet, but you probably bought it this week. Now, 2 promises before we start. At the very end waits the hidden hero. Our test winner, $2.29, cleaner than the pricey health loaves that cost 3 times as much. And I'll hand you a 60-second kitchen check that exposes any fake bread on your own counter tonight. Stay with me until the very end, because that $2.29 test winner and the 60-second check both land in the final minutes. Miss the end, and you miss the whole point. Here's the plan. We're putting 12 brands under the microscope. We rank the 9 scams from the bottom up, worst first, then the 3 loaves that are actually honest. 12 brands, 9 liars, 3 heroes. So what's the trick they all bank on? It's a single word game. Made with whole grain is not 100% whole grain. Read that again. A loaf can be mostly refined white flour, the same stripped, bleached stuff in a cheap dinner roll, and still legally wear whole grain on the front. How do they make white flour look wholesome and brown? Caramel color, a dye. The exact same browning agent in a cola, painted through the dough so your eye reads healthy while your body gets bleached starch. Flip your loaf over right now and read the first ingredient. Go ahead. I'll wait. And there's the tell that gives the whole scam away. Real whole wheat bread goes stale in days. It dries out, it stiffens because that's what real food does. The fakes, they stay factory soft on your counter for 3 weeks. 3 weeks, that is not freshness. That is embalming. Dough conditioners like azotocarbonamide, a chemical also used to make foam plastics, and datum, plus a preservative called calcium propionate, keep that crumb springy long after real bread would have turned to a brick. When bread refuses to age, that's the chemistry talking, not the baker. Which brings us to the bottom of the list. Rank 12, the worst of the worst. Wonder Bread, whole grain white, $2.98 a loaf, and it's a masterclass in the con. A 2024 Environmental Working Group review flagged it as barely 6% actual whole grain. 6%. The other 94? Bleached flour and added gluten to fake the chew. It's soft, it's brown, it says the magic words, and there's almost nothing whole about it. This isn't bread. This is chemical foam pretending to be bread. Stay away. But here's what turns my stomach even more. Wonder Bread, as bad as it is, wasn't even the loaf hiding the ugliest secret, because rank 11 wears a bold 100% whole wheat badge, stamped proud on the front, while its third ingredient, third on the list, is high fructose corn syrup, sugar syrup, in your whole wheat, and there's a whitening chemical brightening that crumb, an additive that has no business anywhere near your bread. A 100% whole wheat badge sitting on top of corn syrup and paint pigment, that whitening chemical brightening the crumb, titanium dioxide. The same pigment they stir into house paint to make it opaque and bright. And there it sits in a loaf wearing a bold 100% whole wheat badge, while high fructose corn syrup rides at number 3 on the ingredient list. Sara soft and smooth, $3.49. Flip it over and the whole con is right there in black and white. Paint pigment and corn syrup dressed up as health food. My verdict, based on the label in front of me, Stay away. Which brings us to rank 10, Nature's Own Honey Wheat. Now, the name sells you a picture, doesn't it? Golden honey, hearty wheat. But go looking for that honey on the list, and you'll find it hiding near the very bottom, a whisper, barely a drizzle. So what's actually making this loaf look warm and wholesome and brown? Caramel coloring. Same trick, different bag. It's brown paint doing the job the grain should be doing. The honey is set dressing. The dye is the star. Then we hit rank 9, and this one stings because a lot of you trust this brand. Pepperidge Farm Whole Grain. $4.79, premium shelf, premium promise, a clean label project screening flagged glyphosate residue in it. That's the weed killer they spray to dry the wheat down fast before harvest, called desiccation. You're eating the shortcut, but here's the real tell. Flip the package over. Right there, wheat flour is listed before whole wheat flour. If you spot that word order on your own loaf, you've been had. Because plain wheat flour is refined white flour. Listed first means it's the real base. The whole wheat is the garnish. That word order is the entire lie, sitting in plain sight. Now hold on tight. Forget everything you thought you knew about cheap store brands. Because at rank 8, we finally get a surprise, and it comes from a name the big brands look down on, Kroger's own store label. Flip that one over, and whole wheat flour is the very first ingredient. First. Not buried, not third, not hiding behind corn syrup. The budget brand did what the $4 loaves wouldn't. That's the first crack in the story they've been selling us, folks, and it will not be the last. And this is exactly the fight, so let me pause here for 1 second. If you want us to keep pulling these labels apart, uncensored, no brand paying us to look away, hit that like button and subscribe. It's what pushes the algorithm to carry this truth across the country. This is us against the marketing giants, and every share is one more kitchen that gets warned. All right, back to the shelf. And honestly, if factory bread rattles you, wait till you see what we found sitting in the seed oils, the stuff frying half of what you eat. That investigation is linked right after this one. It's worse than the bread, and I don't say that lightly. Now the midfield tightens up. Ranks 7 through 4. Arnold, Oro Wheat, Aldi's Love and Fresh, and Target's Good and Gather. Mixed bags. All of them. Arnold and Oro Wheat land solid middle. Not clean, not criminal, real whole grain further up the list, but still stuffed with dough conditioners and calcium propionate to keep them soft. Ever wonder why that toast still looks factory fresh after 3 weeks on your counter? That's the preservative. Real bread would have gone hard as a brick. Aldi's Love and Fresh actually surprises on price and holds its own. And then there's the bottom of this pack, Target's Good and Gather, a screening turned up added gluten and a stack of emulsifiers that, according to the gut research on the table, scrape at your intestinal lining like sandpaper. Cheap in the wrong way. That one I'd walk past. So that's the field cleared. The scams named, the first honest surprise found, but everything so far was just the warm-up because now comes the Champions League. The top 3 breads that are actually worth your money. And here's what stuns everyone who watches this. One of them costs $6.49 and earns the words gold standard. Another is a genuine 100% whole grain loaf that still hides a catch at rank 3. And sitting above all of them is that $2.29 store brand nobody saw coming. So here it is at rank 3, and I want you to look at it because this one's real. Dave's Killer Bread, the Power Seed Loaf, $5.99. And after everything we've just crawled through, the caramel dyed white flour, the corn syrup, the embalming preservatives, this one is a relief to hold. Genuinely 100% whole grain, no dye pretending to be health, no high fructose corn syrup sitting third on the list. Flip the package over and the words actually match the promise on the front. That, folks, is rarer than it should be. So where's the catch? The catch is the price tag itself, $6 near enough for a loaf of bread. That's the halo tax, the health brand glow you pay extra for, the little organic sunrise on the wrapper doing some of the work your wallet finishes. The bread is honest, the receipt is where it stings. My verdict? Safe to buy if your wallet doesn't flinch, and for a lot of you it flinches. I get it. Hold that thought, because now we climb one more step into rank 2, and this is the one people call the gold standard. Food for life. Ezekiel 4:9, the sprouted loaf you'll find hiding in the freezer aisle, not the bread shelf. $6.49. And this thing is built different. It's flourless, sprouted grains and legumes, not milled white powder. No added gluten, no dough conditioners, nothing propping it up, nothing keeping it soft past its time. If your budget can carry it, this is about as clean as packaged bread gets. The gold standard, earned. Dense, nutty, serious bread. But 2 brands beat it on this list. One of them on quality and one of them on everything. And if you want to know whether your loaf beat the winner, this is the moment you've been waiting for. Here it is. Rank 1, it's not Dave's, it's not Ezekiel, it's not the priciest halo on the shelf. The bread that topped 12 brands, the hidden hero I promised you at the very start, is Trader Joe's own 100% whole wheat, $2.29. Let that land for a second. Flip the package over. The ritual, one last time, and here's the whole ingredient list. Whole wheat flour, water, yeast, salt, a touch of honey. 5 ingredients, that's it, that's the loaf. No azotocarbonamide, no datum, no titanium dioxide, brightening a fake crumb, no caramel color painting refined flour brown, nothing to hide, because there's nothing hidden. Cleaner than Ezekiel, a third the price of that Pepperidge Farm loaf we buried earlier. $2.29 instead of $6.49. Cleaner, cheaper, honest. Read that again and feel how upside down the shelf really is. The store brand nobody talks about quietly outscored every famous name that spent millions telling you it was healthy. That right there is a win for plain common sense. That's the whole point of what we do here. And now, as promised at the very start, the 60-second kitchen check. You don't need a lab. You need a countertop and one night. Take a single slice, any loaf in your kitchen right now, and leave it out uncovered overnight. That's it. In the morning, go touch it. Real whole grain bread will have dried out and stiffened. It goes hard because that's what bread with nothing propping it up actually does. The fakes? Still springy, still soft, still bending like the day you bought it. That unnatural 3-week softness we've talked about all along, that's not freshness, friends. That's the chemistry betraying itself right there on your counter in the dark while you sleep. So try this tonight. Then write your result in the comments. Tell me your brand, tell me stiff or springy, and I'll check it myself. I read them. And remember the one line that ties this whole thing together. There's no such thing as cheap food. You pay at the register or you pay with your health. One of those bills always comes due. So, which bread's in your kitchen right now? Are you switching? Tell me down below, and do me one favor. Send this video to the friend who still buys the expensive loaf, the one who thinks the brown wrapper means it's good for them. They'll thank you at their next sandwich. Next check, we go after something even bigger, the olive oil that isn't olive oil. You're not going to believe what's really in that bottle. Until then, stay sharp, stay healthy. See you at the next check.